shift, the stakes are high. The mag breaks it down, no need to sigh. From EU rules to global news, Reg with Meg, your trusted views.
Welcome to Reg with Meg's weekly regulatory roundup. This week, we're focusing our lens on a topic that affects millions of people every day, though they might not realize the complex regulatory framework behind it. We're talking about spectacles.
That's right. It's an area that's both a consumer product and a medical device, which always makes for interesting regulatory developments. And there's a big one on the horizon. The Medical Device Coordination Group, or MDCG, has just published a significant new guidance document, MDCG 2025-8.
Exactly. This document is all about the implementation of something called the Master UDI-DI. It's specifically for spectacle frames, spectacle lenses, and ready-to-wear readers. This is a major step in supporting manufacturers to meet new requirements under the Medical Device Regulation, or MDR.
And it stems from a new delegated regulation, EU 2025-1920, which specifically targets these types of highly individualized devices. When you think about it, spectacles are the definition of individualized. They vary so widely in design, materials, and of course, the patient's specific prescription.
That's the core of the issue. The goal here with introducing the Master UDI-DI is to seriously enhance traceability in the market. It's about improving regulatory consistency and making vigilance reporting, so tracking and reporting on serious incidents, much more effective.
Okay, so let's break that down for our listeners. Many will be familiar with the basic UDI-DI. How is this new Master UDI-DI different? What exactly is it?
Great question. Think of it as another layer of specificity. The Master UDI-DI is a unique identifier used to group these highly individualized devices that share the same combination of specific design parameters. It's more granular than the basic UDI-DI.
Right, so the basic UDI-DI identifies a whole family of devices with the same intended purpose, risk class, and essential design characteristics. For example, an entire line of titanium spectacle frames might fall under one basic UDI-DI.
Precisely. But the Master UDI-DI goes deeper. It functions as the actual UDI-DI for these product categories and is what will appear on the device label itself. It's assigned based on very specific, clinically relevant design characteristics, which differ depending on whether we're talking about frames, lenses, or ready-to-wear readers.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are those triggers for spectacle frames? How does the assignment work there?
For spectacle frames, the basic UDI-DI assignment is based on two main things: frame construction, so full rim, half rim, rimless, or other types, and the frame material, like metal, plastic, or a combination.
Okay, that makes sense. That groups them into broad categories.
Right. But the Master UDI-DI assignment for frames is much simpler. All frames sharing the same combination of those characteristics, construction, and material are grouped under one Master UDI-DI. The guidance is clear that different models, brands, or catalog numbers don't require a new Master UDI-DI unless one of those core design parameters actually changes.
That's an important clarification for manufacturers. It prevents an explosion of identifiers for purely cosmetic or branding changes. So what about spectacle lenses? That seems far more complex given the prescription variables.
It is, and the guidance reflects that. For lenses, the basic UDI-DI is based on the commercial or refractive index and the material, whether it's organic or mineral, and the design type, like single vision, multifocal, or power variation lenses.
And the Master UDI-DI, what are the specific triggers there?
This is where it gets really granular. The assignment is based on three factors. First, the spherical equivalent power. The guidance defines value ranges, less than 0, equal to 0, or greater than 0 diopters, and it differentiates between lenses with and without a prescribed cylinder.
Okay, so that's the base power. What's the second factor?
The second is the addition power, which is for presbyopic or multifocal lenses. Again, it's based on value ranges, a low range, a moderate range, and an advanced range with specific diopter values defining those brackets.
Wow. So every unique combination of that spherical power range and addition power range requires a distinct Master UDI-DI. That sounds like a lot of identifiers for lens manufacturers to manage.
It is, but it's essential for traceability. If there's an issue with a specific batch of lenses, this level of detail allows regulators and manufacturers to pinpoint the exact products affected, rather than recalling an entire product family.
That makes perfect sense from a safety perspective. Now, what about the third category? Ready-to-wear reading spectacles. How are they handled?
Ready-to-wear readers are a kind of hybrid of the first two. The basic UDI-DI assignment is similar to frames, based on frame construction and material, with the addition of lens material, whether mineral or organic.
Okay, and the Master UDI-DI triggers for them?
For the Master UDI-DI, it comes down to two things. First, the horizontal box lens size, which is usually a discrete value between 40 and 60 millimeters. And second, the lens spherical power, typically in discrete values from +1 to +3.5 diopters. Just like with prescription lenses, each unique combination of size and power requires a distinct Master UDI-DI.
So, across all three device types, this new system creates a much more detailed map of the products on the market. What are some of the other practical considerations mentioned in the guidance? What about packaging?
The guidance addresses that. If a manufacturer has a multi-unit sales package, like a box containing several pairs of ready readers that have the same Master UDI-DI, then a Master UDI-DI may also be required for that outer packaging level. It's all about maintaining the chain of traceability.
And this all ties back to safety and vigilance. Let's talk about what happens when something goes wrong. How does this affect incident reporting?
This is a critical part. In the event of a serious incident, the manufacturer must report the Master UDI-DI. But here's the key challenge. Because a single Master UDI-DI can still cover a wide range of devices, like many different frame models made of the same material, the responsibility doesn't end there.
So the Master UDI-DI gets you to the right neighborhood, but not the exact house address.
That's a perfect analogy. The guidance emphasizes that manufacturers must maintain strict internal traceability systems to identify the specific devices involved in an incident. The Master UDI-DI is the external-facing identifier for regulatory purposes, but the internal system needs to be able to pinpoint the exact batch, model, or even unit. This is fundamental for post-market surveillance obligations.
So this isn't just a labeling exercise. It requires a robust internal quality and data management system to back it up. Let's talk about the timeline. When do manufacturers need to have all this in place?
The clock is ticking, but there is a reasonable transition period. The new requirements officially take effect on November 1st, 2028. This follows a 3-year transition period that began after the regulation entered into force back on October 13th, 2025.
That makes a lot of sense. You focused on the manufacturer's obligations, but this must have ripple effects down the entire supply chain. What about importers or distributors, for instance? Did they share some of this responsibility, or is it all on the manufacturer?
That's a fantastic point, and the MDR is very clear on this. The responsibility is shared across the economic operators. While the manufacturer is responsible for assigning the UDI-DI and ensuring the data is correct in UDIMED, importers and distributors have their own crucial roles. Importers, for example, must verify that the device they are placing on the market has been assigned a UDI and that the necessary information is registered. They also need to add their own details to the product registration. Distributors have a similar verification duty. They must ensure the UDI is on the labeling and that the device's registration is in order before they make it available. So yes, the ripple effect is significant. It creates a chain of accountability.
So 2028 is the hard deadline. Is there any grace period for products already on the market?
Yes, there is. The guidance notes that any devices manufactured before November 1st, 2028 do not need to bear a Master UDI-DI. This avoids a massive relabeling effort for existing stock. However, everything manufactured from that date forward must be compliant.
That chain of accountability is so important. But what about the role of notified bodies in all of this? How did they fit into the verification process for the Master UDI-DI, especially during conformity assessments?
That's a critical piece of the puzzle. The notified body's role is essentially to audit the manufacturer's compliance with the MDR, and the UDI system is a major part of that. During a conformity assessment, they will scrutinize the manufacturer's quality management system, or QMS. They'll be looking for documented procedures for the assignment of basic and master UDI-DIs. They'll verify that the manufacturer has a process to ensure the data submitted to the UDIMED database is accurate and kept up to date. Essentially, the notified body acts as the independent verifier, ensuring the entire system is not just implemented, but is also effective and maintained.
That's crucial information. But as with most regulatory deadlines, waiting until the last minute is probably not the best strategy.
Absolutely not. The MDCG strongly encourages manufacturers to implement these new requirements early. This is to avoid potential bottlenecks and delays in UDIMED registrations and to allow for smoother supply chain planning. Getting ahead of this is key.
Okay, so let's summarize what this all means for manufacturers. What should their immediate action plan look like?
First and foremost, they need to conduct a thorough review of their product portfolio against the new Master UDI-DI assignment criteria. They need to figure out how many new identifiers they will need and how they will manage them. Second, and just as important, they must ensure their internal traceability systems are up to the task of supporting their vigilance and post-market surveillance, or PMS, obligations under this new framework.
That internal system check seems like the biggest lift. It's not just about compliance, but about operational readiness. This can be a complex process, especially for smaller manufacturers or those with very diverse product lines.
It certainly can be, and navigating these new requirements can be daunting. That's why many companies choose to seek external expertise. Organizations like MedEnvoy, for example, offer targeted support in these key regulatory and operational areas. Having an expert partner can be invaluable in ensuring your device meets all the applicable standards and that you have a clear pathway for ongoing compliance.
Right. Getting tailored support can help interpret the gray areas and build a strategy that fits a company's specific situation. So, the key takeaway for our listeners in the optical industry is that change is here. The new Master UDI-DI system is a significant step forward in device traceability and patient safety.
Exactly. The time to start preparing is now. Review your products, assess your internal systems, and don't hesitate to seek expert guidance to navigate the transition smoothly. The 2028 deadline will be here before you know it.
Fantastic summary. A big thank you to all our listeners for tuning in to this week's deep dive. As always, stay informed and stay compliant. Bye, guys.